The Midoriya family. The Midoriya family and the Todoroki family. Two families very intertwined. Now, for those of you guys who are not aware of this, Todoroki is Endeavor's last name. So Ray, obviously enough, took his last name. Oh my god, I just realized how fucking dumb I sound. Obviously enough, y'all would know that that's like 50% of how marriages works. Okay, anyways, whatever. Now, just gonna make it clear. The Midoriya family and the Todoroki family are actually related families. They're kin. They all come from the same great 200 years of great grandfather who was born with the incredible quirk, at least of his time, a highly incredible quirk of thermal manipulation, which allowed him the ability to completely manipulate the temperature around him and control all aspects of temperatures. That meant he could control water, ice, fire, heat, steam, cold. Like, he was broken, okay? Dude was broken, and he was one of the most dangerous men to live in that time. He fought alongside the resistance in order to take down All For One, but in the end, he failed. Luckily enough, his quirk was not stolen, because if it was, All For One would be even more broken than what he already is, okay? But it was enough, and he did manage to make sure that the third user of One For All was able to escape. With that being said, his last words: keep his blood together. Didn't work out too well, because one half of his family developed hydrokinesis and ice-based quirks, while the other half developed fire-based quirks. And to put it simply, these families always fought. They never got along, and they bickered for the legacy of Izuku's grandfather. But it never worked out. And in the end, the two families split apart, leaving behind a history that they were ever even connected to begin with. This means that, of course, their blood, one, it's still connected, okay? They're still related, although it may be very distant, they're still related. Well, they decided to stay away from one another, to completely act as if they are nothing to each other. And that's what they did. Around the time period when Asashi was growing up, he was trained to be the best water style quirk user ever. But Asashi just wasn't that, okay? Hasashi's quirk was powerful, but it was nothing compared to what they wanted it to be. Hasashi had basically the opposite of Endeavor's quirk. And then you may have you thinking, so how is he not enough? Because Hasashi had two major weaknesses. His most prominent major weakness was that if he's in a very cold surrounding, he's essentially quirkless. Hasashi cannot manipulate ice. He cannot control it underneath any circumstance. And if he's in an extremely hot situation, well, the water within him literally starts to boil, and it brings Hasashi to a very weakened state. So he can't get too hot, and he can't get too cold. If he's too cold, he has no quirk. He's literally quirkless if he's too cold, unless there's a source of unfrozen water around. Whilst if he gets too hot, he literally starts to die. And that was a major weakness for Hasashi. But this weakness angered Hasashi. It greatly angered Hasashi. And you may be thinking, are you just going to do a Todoroki approach? Kind of, sort of, not really. You'll see. But it angered him, to the point where he tried to figure out any way he could to get over this weakness. He eventually installed heaters and air conditioning into his hero suit. This helped him out greatly, but in the end, it was still never enough. Which tends to Hasashi eventually meeting Inko. Inko had a powerful quirk, a quirk that reminded Hasashi a lot. And mind you, the two families may ignore the fact that they are related, but the elders of each family are aware of their connection. And Hasashi just so happens to be an elder of said family. He's aware of the fact that him and the Todorokis are in fact connected. They are blood. And Hasashi, meeting Inko and meeting her having a quirk so reminiscent of their great-grandfather, Inko's also able to manipulate temperature. But it turns out with Inko, it isn't like their grandfather, where they're able to manipulate everything temperature related. She can only manipulate temperature. This means Hasashi saw greatness in Inko and thought that if him and her were to have a child, their baby would possess the perfect water quirk, because that weakness he possessed is the same as everyone else in his family. Everyone possesses their weakness. The difference is it's a bit more extreme on Hasashi. Because he has the most powerful quirk, his weakness is the strongest as well. So they stayed by Inko's side. And for years, Hasashi protected, defended Inko, and eventually Inko fell in love with Hasashi. Hasashi also began to fall in love with Inko slowly. In the beginning, his intentions were only to keep her safe because he wanted her to bear his child. But as more and more they were around each other, the more and more Hasashi began to fall, just as Inko began to fall. Eventually, both of them broke. Izuku was born. Now, when Izuku was born, literal tidal waves were happening all across the globe. Horrible water storms, tsunamis, like storms itself was going off ballistically. No one could understand what was happening. This national phenomenon of just straight water was just insane. But no one could question anything because no one could point it to Izuku. No one could prove that it was Izuku. But I'm letting you guys know now, it was in fact Izuku's birth that caused all this to happen. When Izuku was born, the Midoriya family cherished him. Izuku was a sacred treasure to their family. And mind y'all guys, this version of Izuku is going to be a complete asshole. I cannot stress this part enough. He's going to be a dick. So just be prepared. Izuku was cherished growing up. And he was literally looked at to be the best no matter what. And it was proven no matter what. Izuku's hydrokinesis was the most powerful in their family. Not only was he able to produce water from his body, he was able to do things that no one else in his family thought about. Grabbing the water from the atmosphere and moving that into actual water. They realized that water molecules are all around them at all times. There's always some form of a water molecule. Izuku would go into steam rooms where in there he would meditate. And strangely enough, that made him stronger. And doing the same thing, he would force Hasashi to go in there. Even though this was Hasashi's weakness, a young 6-year-old Izuku constantly belittled and begged his father to do it because it made Hasashi gain a tolerance to his one weakness, to his most extreme weakness, which is the fact that if he's too hot, he dies. He constantly did it until eventually, when Izuku was 9 years old, Hasashi was damn nearly impervious to this weakness. Yeah, it's that serious. Eventually, Hasashi, whilst being in these boil and steam rooms, eventually began to learn that he can just absorb the steam. Absorbing the steam, he's able to literally regain all of his water. Though Hasashi cannot manipulate said steam, because if he could, that would just make him broken, and I kind of need Izuku to be the one that's that broken. But he learns he's able to absorb said steam. Hasashi realizes, sadly enough though, no matter what he does, he can't control ice, nor snow, or anything of that sort. He cannot do anything in that situation unless he has a source of water that isn't frozen. So what Izuku did is, he decided to have boiled water, like little machines that boiled water, implanted into Hasashi's suit. That way that if Hasashi is put in a dangerous situation, it's very cold, his suit is constantly absorbing the snow around Hasashi until it reaches a certain limit, and then that said snow is boiled until it melts into water, and it's now steaming hot water for Hasashi to manipulate. All in all, Izuku and Hasashi are both very quick thinkers. Hasashi is also a master of hand-to-hand combat, a master of kenjutsu, a master of all types of fighting styles. He's a straight-up trained vet. Hasashi is almost impossible to defeat in battle. I really hope you guys don't hear the music in my background, but I'm pretty sure you guys don't. You usually don't hear it, so yeah. But it helps me focus on the videos. Anyways, that being said, a master of several hand-to-hand combat skills. And Izuku's trained by every member of his family. Every member that possesses unique, different quirks. Izuku's taught by them. One member of his family is able to spew out water from their mouth like a water hose. He's trained by the water hole heroes. He's trained by them, Koda's parents. Koda is Izuku's younger cousin, okay? Koda is also going to be Kota Midoriya. You guys get it? Okay. With that being said, we now time skip to the start of the original anime. This version of Deku doesn't live anywhere around Bakugo. As a matter of fact, this version of Deku, he just doesn't care. He's nowhere around. No one is very special to Deku, so he never met Bakugo this time around. Deku has multiple friends, though. He has a huge friend group and a huge following. Deku essentially is Bakugo this time around. He is the main character version of Bakugo. Now, Deku was walking, and he normally walks around because he's one of the most powerful people on the planet. No one's gonna touch him, and even if they do touch him, he's fucking famous. He's the number 3 pro hero's son. Anyone do try to attack him, which people have done before, but he's always taking them down because they're just so pathetic. He ends up seeing the sludge villain. as the surgeon has this strange kid. This kid looks angry. He looks like a fucking rag. He looks like a rabid dog. Bakugo goes shooting explosion after explosion after explosion. Deku just watches onward. He then begins to start staring at the sludge as the sludge begins to rush forward. As it came start attacking the crowd, like trying to get them away. But suddenly the sludge would stop in its tracks. That's enough, Deku would say. Stand down, you filthy animal. As soon as Deku says it, the sludge would explode everywhere, and Bakugo would fall. Deku then would shoot off a water hit as he picks up Bakugo. Fucking weakling. And he throws him to the side. Him obviously enough being caught by another hero. I gotta see if y'all can hear that now, because it got a little bit louder, and that's kind of fucking irritating. As Deku does this, he proceeds to walk away, and the crowd tries to get visual. Izuku Midoriya! Izuku Midoriya! You're the son of Asashi Midoriya! You're the son of Hydro Man! Izuku then proceeds to literally stomp his foot and vanish in a wave of water. Like he literally turned into a puddle of water. Izuku then would appear home as he walks inside of the gates. Welcome, Lord Midoriya. Yes, it's good to see you again, Jonathan. Izuku ends up walking inside, where from there all of his cousins will be seen in the front room watching a movie. As soon as they do so, they will run over towards, yo, Deku, Izuku, yo, bro! They will run on over towards Izuku, and they all begin to just glaze this man. Glaze Izuku to death. And Izuku just has the biggest smile ever. Inko then walks into the room and she says, hey, Izuku. Deku would smile, hey, mother. He'd walk up towards Inko, so he would hug her. As you will see everyone around, all laughing, having a real good time. For the next 10 months, Izuku constantly trains with his family. He trains with them, and he trains with other pros. But Izuku is now actually starting to focus more on training with weaponry, because Izuku is able to create water weapons, okay? He's able to manipulate them. He's even able to create water tendrils that turn into weapons on the ends. But Izuku actually wants to learn how to use these weapons. He doesn't want to just make these weapons and swing them randomly and unproficiently. So, he trains with bows and arrows, he trains with swords, he trains with spears, he trains with fucking hammers, he trains with guns. Like, Izuku's training with every weapon he can for the next 10 months. Literally, every 2 weeks he's switching to a different weapon because Izuku's that big of a prodigy. Actually, almost every day he learns how to master something simple. Izuku has learned several things. But currently, guys, Izuku has a weakness. I didn't mention this before, but his weakness is the same as Sasashi's. Izuku's thermal weakness. But this kind of embarrassed and upset the family. But they realized something simple about Izuku. Izuku may have a thermal weakness like Asashi does, but Izuku's tolerance is so much stronger than Hasashi's. It is massively stronger than Hasashi's. As a matter of fact, Izuku could dead ass be at a volcano and he would be damn nearly perfectly fine. It just depends on how long he's there. The only people that could actually indulge Izuku's weakness would probably be someone like Dabi or a manga Todoroki. Like in the series Todoroki. They are the only people, or of course Endeavor, but they are the only people who could actually induce Izuku's thermal weakness. So, currently, there's not really anyone that can do that. Okay? And his ice side, surprisingly enough, he doesn't have a weakness to it. He just can't control ice. When it's in watery situations, he could turn the ice into water, but other than that, that's about it. But of course, guys, that's not going to last for very long, because I'm, of course, going to give him a quirk awakening. Low-key spoiled it, but y'all seen it coming. I mean, anybody will see that coming. It's kind of common sense. Time skip, baby. Vroom. Anyways, we're now coming over towards Izuku performing the test. This time around, Izuku's actually entering into the recommended exams, which means that there is no Ida, there is no Bakugo, there is no Ochako. You see Deku walk inside. Now, you guys look at the thumbnail. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it's AI generated. Why? Because I'm broke. Leave me alone. But had to point it out. Anyways, that's how Deku's hero suit gonna look. I also really like the idea of how it looks. So, yeah, that's his hero suit. But you know, it doesn't matter. Actually, it does. The recommended students are allowed to wear the suits during the recommended exams, and Deku's suit's gonna look exactly like this. Because he wants something simple. He doesn't want to be like his father, who's really over the fucking top putting on armor like Black Manta, and he just doesn't have the helmet of Black Manta. He has this cool armor, water literally going, like literally is shown on his suit glowing blue. Like Hasashi's over the top with it. Deku's very simple. He isn't with all that extra shit. So, as soon as the test would begin, they have to fight only 0 points, okay? They only have to fight 0 pointers. And of course, for them, the 0 pointers are actually worse points, but in comparison to the regular robots that the other students have to face, they gotta fight real problems. They also have to have tactics, they have to fight bombs, they have to disable them. Deku sees it as a bunch of 0 pointers, and he just looks towards the students here. There's Tanasa, you know, the guy with the powerful wind quirk. There's Todoroki, his cousin. Deku and Todoroki just side-eye each other for a moment, but they didn't say anything else. Two of them then would look forward. Todoroki finally says a word to Deku. Stay the hell out of my way, you fucking Midoriya. Deku just looks at him. You're such a fucking idiot. Still worried about that dumbass legacy. Looks as how dare you. How dare I? You're talking about me like your mother didn't burn your own fucking eye. How dare I? I'm not the one getting bitch slapped by my father every day. Oh wait, you are. Remember your fucking place, Todoroki. You're nothing in comparison to me, and you're sitting here trying to act like you actually deserve anything. Are you still mad because I kicked your ass all those years ago? Todoroki looks towards Deku and says, oh, you're gonna do what? Attack? We have a test to do. Shut the fuck up and fight. We now do a flashback to a 10-year-old Deku standing in an arena. He then looks towards his dad and was kind of, Dad, what are we doing here? I'm the strongest one. Like, you could have got Jay to do this shit, bro. Like, Jay, he's powerful. Like, no. I wanted it to be you. Jay can literally shoot water explosions. Why does it have to be me? Because I want it to be you. You're better. Okay? You're the strongest one, and he's the strongest one they got. We want them to make it clear that just because he has 2 quirks, you're still better. Says, you're putting me up against someone with 2 quirks? Ugh, who does this guy possibly be? Shoto Todoroki. He has fire and ice manipulation. That's stupid. If he fires ice at me, I'll just melt the ice. We know. That's why we got you. Because the boy refuses to use his fire. As he says this, Deku will say he refuses to use his fire. Why would I fight someone who's gonna hold back against me? That's pathetic. It's a waste of my time. I want to fight someone that's actually worth my fucking time, not a fucking weakling or a goddamn idiot. I want to fight somebody who's actually fucking worth it. Do not waste my time making me fight some fucking insignificant fool. Izuku, who the hell are you talking to? I'm sorry, father. Fight the boy. And I want you to completely embarrass him. But it's been said that Hasashi will walk off, and Todoroki walks inside. Deku sees a very, Todoroki, and this is his first time meeting him. Todoroki's calm, he's silent, he doesn't seem to care. And Deku just says, plain and simple, look, I already know about you, and if you're not gonna use your fire, then don't waste your time fighting me, because I'm not gonna hold back against you. I will embarrass you for thinking you can embarrass me. Deku would say so calmly. Todoroki looks at him. Shut up and fight. As he would stomp his foot on the ground and release a wave of ice towards Deku, Deku would lift up his hand as 50% of the wave would melt into water. Said water then would fly towards Deku. Deku would spin and throw the water directly at Todoroki. Todoroki sees it coming. He would lift up his hand and unleash a ice wall. But Deku's water literally melts the ice wall and slams into Todoroki, and he's thrown back. Todoroki then proceeds to get up with it. He starts shooting waves of ice towards Deku. Deku say, didn't you see what just happened the first time? Don't waste your time, you fucking idiot. As waves of ice begins to fly towards Deku, they all would just melt instantly. Todoroki then begins to start looking very annoyed as he would rush forward towards Deku as he goes in for a punch. Now this version of Todoroki is a lot different, okay? He's not only trained to use his powers the same as in the original timeline, but he's also trained in hand-to-hand combat. Because we know Todoroki in the original anime is not very good with that. This version of him is. Because they want to keep up with the Midoriyas no matter what. They want to beat these niggas no matter what. But it doesn't matter. Because Deku flips this fool completely over his shoulders. He then will rush forward as Deku kicks Todoroki square in the jaw. He tells him, use your fire. Because I'm not going to hold back. You want to embarrass me? Now I'm going to embarrass you. Use your fucking fire. Deku will wave his hand forward as a water like a water slash will strike Todoroki dead to the chest. Todoroki ends up getting a pretty significant cut on his chest. Deku then would rush force. He ends up spearing Todoroki right into the stomach. Deku then proceeds to turn into a puddle of water, as then he would literally form around Todoroki. No, not around. Like he literally okay, how do I explain this? He turns to a puddle of water. Literally, okay, he teleported. He fucking teleported. It's how he teleports. Like, you guys know how Sektor can teleport. That's how Deku teleports. He turned to a puddle of water and splashed up behind, or splashed up to the other end of the ring. Deku then just yawns. Man, you're not challenging at all. I was expecting a genuine fight, but I mean, oh no, Shoto Todoroki, son of Endeavor. I mean, Duke's supposed to be a problem, and yet you're just my little bitch. As Deku says his, Todoroki gets up. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Uh-oh, someone's mad. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Ooh, do something about it. Make me shut up. Todoroki would rush for us. He goes in and unleashing another, like this time a massively larger wave of ice. As the wave of ice comes towards Deku, Deku's actually frozen solid inside of it. As Deku just begins to literally write on the ice, Izuku, like he literally writes his name on the ice and teleports outside the ice, appearing behind Todoroki. Wow, you're pretty dramatic. Todoroki then turns. He goes in for a punch. Deku grabs Todoroki's arm, flips him over his shoulder, and proceeds to place him into a bundle lock. As this happens, Todoroki starts as Todoroki would explode with his fire. Deku then jumps backwards. Okay, there we go. Finally, he decided to switch quirks. Shut the hell up. As Endeavor Shoto! As Shoto unleashes a massive wave of fire towards Deku. Deku stands there and tanks it point blank range. Alright, now as you use your quirk, I can end this shit because I don't want to use your fire. Deku would walk forward and kick the dog shit out of Todoroki. This time he isn't holding back though. And Todoroki is knocked out with that little bitty kick. With this being said, we now cut back to where we were. I'm gonna change some things. Okay, for one, to Nasa, you guys know that the wind guy is Tania. The wind girl. Why? Because that's the ship. I know no one has ever done that before, so that's gonna be Deku's ship in this timeline. I really hope y'all don't hear the music, bro. I really fucking hope y'all don't hear the music, bro. Anyways, time skip, man. Okay, I time skip. Where the fuck am I gonna time skip to? Okay, the test begins. Now, their test begins. As Deku would immediately create water wings, he flies upward into the sky and he begins to fly off, searching for any robots that he could find. He finds a robot where there he would turn one of his wings into a Triton and he throws the Triton down. The Triton ends up slamming right into the water. Right into the robot. As Deku then proceeds to melt said Triton as it pours into the robot's internal circuits. Where from there, Deku would use the water inside there and turn into mini daggers all throughout the robot. As it begins to literally stab inside of the robot until eventually the robot just powers down. He destroyed all the primal places within the robot. Everything that was needed, he fucking destroyed it all. From here, Deku just smiles deviously. What he did would fly downward. He starts destroying robot after creating water blades, water daggers, unleashing them with massive water bullets. He is going ham. And really, there's nothing any of the robots or anyone watching could do. Deku absolutely destroyed zero pointer after zero pointer after zero pointer, using water tendrils, water spikes, water waves, literal blast of water itself. He literally used sand bombs of water. Like, Deku was going off. And well, he won. Deku ends up winning this, where from there the next one will come around, which is in fact a race. He can teleport. He wins. Honestly, this is going to be enough part 1. Alright guys, so I don't really cover much of this in part 1, but part 2 is going to cover much more. I'm mainly ending the video off because I feel like you guys can hear the music, and if you guys can, I'm not trying to get copyrighted. So I'm ending it off now, but hopefully this video is like 14 minutes. Either 20 to 14 minutes. Either way it goes, as long as it's above those two, I'm good. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and show me some love in the comment section down below, and I'm out.